Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications. That's North Alabama. And you know something, Doug? We're on worldwide television as well.
Hey, I
So
love it.
glad to be on Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And Doug, another announcement. This is pretty cool. So the owner of the Abundant TV was on the show with us. His name is Rob Patz, and he made this announcement. We're actually going to be in Australia as well in just a few weeks. Yeah, it's a
Wow.
Christian. It's like a Christian network, and it's on
Uh-huh.
satellite, something kind of like Dish Network, but it's bigger than that. And so
Right.
it's Christian automated. And so we're going to be on that in just a few months. And when that happens, we're going to have over 1 million viewers.
Golly, 1 million viewers. That's
I'm still
awesome.
pinching myself to make sure that this is true, but it is true. And we're real proud to be part of this. So thanks, Rob, for all the hard work you do. And thank you for everything. We definitely appreciate it. And I appreciate this guy right here.
Yeah,
You
thank you.
Yeah, me and you had a little struggle getting on today, but we sure did make it happen anyway. This is Doug McGee, and Doug is with Second Chance Animal Shelter, and one of my prides. I'm gonna tell you what, I love having you on the show.
Do what? You love what?
I love having you on the show.
Oh, man, I look forward to it. I was really hoping that it just all work out. Technology's got me. One for Teresa, I wouldn't have gotten this far.
Well,
So,
I don't think it was you. I think it was something else. We'll talk about that later, so I don't want to get kicked off yet.
uh,
But thank you, Doug, for coming on. I wanted to ask you about the road. That bridge that there is that affected you guys in any way?
yes, it has. And I found out today they started November 12th of last year and they said it would take a year. So from the get go, I was okay, we made it through 1 month, we can make it through 11 more. And then I found out that because of budget cuts on getting money from the federal government or something like that, it looks like 2 years now to do the same.
No.
Yep, they say it's going to be probably a 2 year. And I'd heard rumors, and I just talked to a guy today. Yeah, so it's really made it a lot more difficult for people to get to us from the Boaz side, especially. But where there's a will, there's a way. And
Yeah,
if you
me
never
and you are
know,
hard headed enough to make it
it,
work.
and from the bridge, you have to take a detour. But if you get to the bridge, you can hear the barking. Where I'm
Uh-huh.
like a mile from the bridge, so um, just listen for the barking, and you'll just take the road until you get the closer. You'll know if you're getting closer because the barking's loud.
Yeah, you'll know from that sign. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've been promoting that or been talking about that every day on the traffic report. And so the last info that I received had said November, I think, or the end of October, something like that, when it would be fixed. But that's been taken off, so I knew something was up. I just didn't know.
Yeah, see, I was thinking it just well, November 12th is when they started it, and I was thinking, okay, 1 year we can do it, and because it is aggravating, it's about twice as far for us to get to Boaz than it used to by having to go the detours. So
Uh,
we'll just have to. I mean, it's nothing they could do now except move forward and get the bridge
yeah,
fixed, but it's just going to take longer than
yeah.
I thought. I can't imagine it taking 2 years to build a bridge, but I'm not a bridge builder, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of weird weather too, like, too much
Yeah,
rain, almost the
and I'm
flooding
sure
stage.
supply chain has everything to do with it, and whatever they're ordering from wherever, it's
Mm.
probably not coming in. So, it's just one of those things. But it has affected our traffic here a lot. Not a lot, but we can definitely tell a difference on traffic
Mhm.
here. So,
Yeah. Well,
but
Doug, you are worldwide. People are watching you all over the country right now. And also wanted to mention this. You guys actually do travel the country. There are particular drop-off points for you. And so
me
let's
and
tell
Wanda, me and Wanda are leaving on Thursday night to take 22 dogs from here to Wisconsin. So, and my birthday is a personal thing. Anyways, on my 30th birthday, little story, on my 30th birthday, I woke up 15 minutes after midnight and I got in my car and drove to Florida, sat on the beach for about 30 minutes, bought me a lottery ticket, and drove back home. That was my 30th birthday, just driving and thinking.
Mhm.
This is my 60th birthday come up Friday.
Mhm.
I'll be in a van driving to Wisconsin. I'll buy me a lottery ticket. I know I will somewhere. I'll buy me a Mega Millions ticket somewhere. And that will be my 60th birthday, spending it on the road. And I told Wanda, my wife, I said, I'm seeing a pattern on 30 30th birthday.
Over 30 years.
Yeah, so when I'm 90, if I'm still driving, I was going to tell my mother about this and say, Mommy, I wonder who's got to drive. And Mom said, I'll go with you. And I'll be 90. So, hopefully at 110, me and my mom will go on a road trip and on 90 years. Every 30 years, I just have to drive and think on my birthday. So that's what I'm going to be doing this Friday, driving and thinking.
There you go. Well, I'm doing a lot of that here lately too.
Oh yeah, to me there's actually nothing better. Wanda will be with me, but a lot of times she's asleep when I'm driving, so it'll be beautiful.
If one does anything like I am, I pretend I'm asleep so I don't have to watch Phil drive.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, especially when you're around Nashville. I don't think she sleeps. If she is
Ooh,
sleeping,
he says he does the same thing for me. He's listening.
normally I try to drive the whole. I just like to drive, so normally when we go, she's that way. When we get there, I'm ill because I'm tired of driving, and she's rested, so she can deal with all the people that we see up in Wisconsin and all that, and I can go sleep. Looking forward to it. 22 dogs leaving out of here, and that's awesome. I mean, I'm proud. Our numbers are so high right now. When we got, and that's a start of getting it back in line. I mean, we have got, it's been the worst, not the worst, but the busiest summer ever on dogs. They are coming from everywhere. I think it's the economy.
Yeah.
I really don't know what's driving it, but we have had more people wanting us to take dogs. Saturday, 11 calls came in like before 12, and 7 of more people wanting us to take dogs. And that's typical. It's probably a 70%, 30% people wanting to take dogs versus everything else. So, hey, so all you worldwide listeners, I don't care where you are in the world. If you want a dog and are willing to work with us, we'll figure out a way to get it to you. I don't know how to get a dog to Australia, but I'll figure it out if we can get somebody to adopt one.
Maybe on your way when you're driving, you're thinking things out.
Oh, that's it. Hey, I just, like I said, that driving gives me a chance to figure out how on earth we're going to deal with this. Because right now we've got 282 dogs here and another 20 that are being fostered. So 302 dogs in our little system. And that's a lot of dogs. I mean, if you got 1 or 2, multiply it times 100 and kind of feel what we're going through. But we're making it. The dogs are healthy. We are moving some. I think we have 4 adoptions today, which is awesome. So come adopt a dog. Help us get this number back to a reasonable level so that we can have some kind of existence other than taking care of dogs.
Let's spend just a few minutes to talk with folks who are just listening across the country and maybe they've never seen you on the show before. And so listen, what is Second Chance Animal Shelter?
Bottom line, Second Chance is the only hope dogs in this area really have. What we do is we go to mostly animal control is where our dogs come from. Your dog catcher or animal control guy gets out here, picks up a stray, it goes to the pound. Because cities and counties aren't equipped to support a dog for its life, after 7 days, most of them, it's the end of the line. That's just, they get put down. I don't know how to put it gently, but the dog ceases to live after 7 days. But where we step in is at the end of the 7 days, we try to take as many as we can, and then we get them here. And the average dog stays here about 450 days, I think. I don't know exactly. So they stay here until we find them a home. We're a no-kill shelter, which means we don't put them down for lack of time or space, but we just try to adopt them out. It gives dogs a chance to not go beyond that 7 days and find a home. And we find homes for last year about 1,200. This year it'll be close to 1,000, I think. So, hey, we're the outlet for dogs, and we're the salvation for these dogs that are at pounds right now, for the most part.
Absolutely. And now the community is real good to support you guys as well.
Oh, we could not make it without the support of our community. We're being a nonprofit, there's no government support for animal shelters, not at any level. The big animal organizations get most of the grants and things like that because they've got the networks built. So our local people and a lot of people from Wisconsin have, because they've gotten dogs from us, and we get a lot of support from across the country, from other areas where people have got dogs. So yeah, if it wasn't for individuals, we wouldn't exist, which goes back to all the dogs that we take in wouldn't exist. It's just really, we get a lot of support from all over. But, our people here in Sand Mountain have been really good to us, and we are grateful. I mean, from all across Sand Mountain, people from Fife and Geraldine, areas like you are to Albertville. I mean, it's really amazing and humbling sometimes. This morning we were at Sand Mountain Toyota in Albertville. We took a bunch of puppies up there, just as we called it a four-legged therapy event. Let people come up and just pet puppies, and so much support for that. People came up and just playing with puppies and feeling good about the world for a minute. So we got a lot of good support from around here.
There's a lot of reasons that you would like to have a pet and have a dog. And we've got one, you know how we love our buddy.
Oh yeah.
And he's just a sweetie pie. But it's a proven fact. I mean, so many tests have been done about this. If you're having depression, a lot of folks going through depression, because of COVID and all those things that happened. For one thing, turn your news off. Just turn it off. Don't even listen to it. And I promise you'll feel better. Another thing, have an animal. Animals are so awesome. There's nothing like having a dog. And
there's a lady came up out there today at that event, and her dog died. I think she said 3 months ago, and she's devastated. She's a single lady, and I mean, her like her child, and I felt so sorry for her because once again, her dog gave her a energy to live, and then her dog passed away just suddenly about 3 months ago. So, of course, my solution is when you're ready, come get another dog. Nothing can replace a dog that you had, but another one can help fill that void. So yeah, if you're lonely, depressed, and I highly recommend a pet. I mean, dogs are most people's choices, but cats too. You got Greenlee. So that's another one I know you feel very well about. So, animals can really get you out of your dump. I mean, or slump. I mean, they can really kind of get you where you need to be. So I highly recommend it.
You'll be tickled at this, Doug. So I got a hatcher. And so I've got chickens, and they're my pets too. And so I got 6. I have a hen. Her name is May. So I have 7 of her eggs and put those in the hatchery. And you know what? They're beginning to hatch out. This is the 21st day. I was thrilled to death. You'll see it on my Facebook page. I put a video up. This little chick that just hatched out.
Oh wow! And see, they're so fun to watch and see. I mean, chickens are a friend of mine. That's his thing. He orders his from up north somewhere, and he just loves. And they do. They just neat to watch. Of course, with his, eventually when they go to their dinner table. But hey, that's part of the process.
Well,
he
we use it for the eggs.
He does it for the eggs, but then at some point, some of them, I guess, start looking tasty.
Well, that's what Phil said to me. He said, "You know what?" He said, you love animals and stuff like that. Are you ever going to want to like fight a fight?" And I said, "No." Do it. It would be like frying Buddy in the pot or Wrigley or something. I just can't do it. But anyway,
my granddad was a cattle rancher, and he had always his cows. And what we would do is, some of them, we had a big cow named Sherry. She was like a big white faced Angus, but red. And she, if a cow got a name, it was safe. Because every year, we take some for the family, the slaughterhouse for the family. But I remember Ted, Martha, and Sherry were 3 that I can remember. And Virginia. We had a cow named Virginia, and those were cows, and they were there. Sherry was like a queen. She was. I mean, I can only remember her being there my whole life, and she was untouchable. If they got a name, they were part of the family. But if they didn't have a name,
just don't name them real or anything.
No,
Sirloin, no.
Yeah, come here, sirloin. Yeah, that wouldn't have been a good thing.
Absolutely.
But Sherry, go ahead. She was a queen. She was such a good cow, and she'd eat out of your hand.
Yeah, so we had one like that growing up too, and we just didn't do anything. I mean, it was a pet, So we. And so my dad finally said, "You know what? That's a very expensive pet. We're going to have to sell it.
Yeah.
Can't do that." But somehow I think he tricked me. Somehow there was meat that got put in the freezer.
Oh yeah, that. That's what happened with us. We'd always pick out. We knew ahead of time. It was just the way we did things back in the early days.
Mhm.
Now, of course, my granddad don't have his farm anymore. Now, if we eat meat, we're so detached because we just go buy it at the store. We don't do like we used to do. So,
Mhm. What are some ways that folks can help you? And I wanted to mention this. There's a commercial that's like a worldwide business. And so what they do is they'll put it out there, they'll show some pets that look really pitiful and stuff like that. And I told you about this. This is before you come along, before Second Chance Animal Shelter came on in Boaz. And what happened was is I don't know, I felt funny about giving. I wanted to give money because I love animals. And I thought, let me go ahead and check on this company. And I checked on it, and the CEO makes over $1 million a year. And then he has a whole bunch of people, COO, this, whatever. A bunch of those people also make a lot of money. But
yeah,
by giving to you guys, that's not the case. And so that's why if you're going to support somebody, support Second Chance Animal Shelter wherever you live, because these people are really doing it right. Doug,
yeah. I mean, and I think what I've said this before, I think that's a natural progression of a charity. At some point, you become more focused on fundraising and making money than you do on your mission. And our mission in here is to stop the killing of healthy animals in North Alabama. That's just kind of very simply put what our mission is. An
mm-hmm,
animal should not be put down just because it's there at the pound after 7 days.
mm-hmm.
And we want to remain true to our mission. A lot of people have their missions, but like say over a period of time, they start. It's hard once you start making 100,000 or 200,000 a year to not and start enjoying that lifestyle. But and hey, I don't make anywhere near near that. Trust me. There have been a few times in the past few years where that dog food started to look pretty good for our meal at home. I mean, really, we're not poor. We're okay. We're not starving to death. Don't feel sorry for us. We're still true to. I really think we're true to our mission, and I hope I want to remain that way until I pass away or whatever. Because we want to save these dogs,
And
and
you guys
I,
are true to the mission. You
I
really
like
are.
to think we are. I mean, we may, do I don't know. We don't have fancy art at our house, and we don't even have fancy house, but we have an adequate house, and that's really why me and Wanda are wired. That's just the way. I don't know how to describe it. I'm happier not worrying about the stuff I've got, but about what I can help do. That's just the way it is.
And I love your heart about that, Doug, but I know that it costs to do this. So if somebody wanted to donate, what would they need to do?
There's several ways you can donate straight to us. You can, of course, mail a check, come by the shelter, go on Facebook and donate through PayPal through the links there. Because it does take a lot of money and resources to take care of 302 dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the trip to Wisconsin, it's not as bad this month as it was a couple of months ago, but the gas prices and stuff like that, I mean, it
Still
does.
high though.
Yeah, it costs money. So we definitely need money to operate. If perfect world, everything would be free, but it's not that way. So, yeah, we need. So if you want to help us, by all means, I hope you do.
Well,
And
let's
keep in
kind of
mind,
break it down. Let's break it down a little bit.
okay,
So let's just say on a monthly basis, what would be the cost of dog food? Just dog food.
if we buy it around $3,200 to $3,500. Now it has gone up. We had to buy some several years ago for a month. We didn't have any, and it was right at $3,500.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be in that range. Of course, dog food. Yesterday, somebody brought half a dozen bags of Purina or Pedigree dog food by, so we get that regularly.
Hey.
And you can do that if you want to help the shelter. In June, we had a fundraiser called Wolf Stock through WQSB, and we got a lot of dog food. But because we have almost 100 more dogs this year than last year, it just, man, they've gone through it. So we go through about 300 pounds of dog food every day, pretty much a pound per dog. And I mean, that's expensive. I mean, it adds up quick, $26, $27 a bag times six. I mean, it's $150 a day, easy. But like I said, people donate it too. So, hey, we need dog food. Number one, we got to feed them. Water, we can afford. Our water bill is $250 a month, $300 a month. Well, that's manageable.
Mm-hmm.
We can do the water part if you'll do the food part. I can handle that. I
I
got a
ran
well on
into a
property
guy.
too.
I ran into a guy at the thrift shop the other day, and I was walking around doing a video, and after I finished the video, there was a cage there, and so the guy was about to pick it up, and I said, yeah, I said, I mentioned you guys the Second Chance Animal Shelter, And he said, well, I'm just getting us because it's a good price. And I said, if you're not going to keep it, and I told them that you guys could probably use something like that. Now it was a wire cage. I don't know if he ever came to you or not.
Somebody brought us a wire cage this morning at that event. Somebody showed up and they had a little bit of damage to it, but that's okay. A bent plate. We got some that we can use for replacement parts. These transports, when we take a transport of 22 dogs, every dog has to have its own crate or cage. So yeah, we use crates all the time, and we have people show up here that might need a crate for some emergency. So anything, if it's dog related, collars, leashes, dog food, anything like that, if you want to do something with it, we'll take it, because we'll, at some point, we're going to use it. A lot of times people show up to adopt a dog, they don't have a leash. So if we've got one, we do not mind giving them to them, because that way they got a starter kit for their new dog.
Absolutely. We've got about 8 minutes left in this segment. And so I wanted to talk to you about the weather's about to change again. You know, you and I always have a segment, weather change, how to take care of that dog out if he's outside. What are some steps that people need to take right now just to get ready for cooler weather?
Of course, all of our dogs are outdoor acclimated. I mean, they live outside. So what we do in the fall is we like to use straw. Now we used to use hay, but if the donut, people will start bringing in straw pretty quick. With Halloween, a lot of people have decorations of straw. So bales of straw is definitely some good bedding to put into a doghouse. And they need bedding. In the wintertime, they don't need just to have a doghouse with a plastic floor or a wooden floor and nothing in it. So straw is definitely good. Cedar shavings are good. And we'll start that in the next couple of weeks. We'll start putting really good thick bedding of straw for them. Make sure they have a doghouse. We have a program here called Second Chance Shelter Program. And so far we've taken 59 dog houses. And a lot of our people that see them are postal workers. They'll see a dog without a house, they call us. We will deliver it within 50 miles. We'll deliver a dog to your house, a dog house to your house, just for the sake of the dog. Now, don't be, don't be greedy. If you got the money, go buy a dog house. Don't. I mean, we would appreciate it if you want. If you care about your dog, go buy a dog house. If you can't afford a dog house, let us know. And if we've got any dog house we got this extra, we will bring to you, because we want every dog to have shelter within 50 miles of our shelter. Can't stand the thought of a dog being chained up without a dog house in the cold winter and rain and all that. So we will help you if at all possible, if you'll just let us know. And postal workers, if you're out there and you see a dog that needs a dog house, we don't mind you calling and telling us about it, and we can get the address, and there's no judgments. We're not going to show up getting all mad at them because they haven't got a dog house, because there may be a reason. They may be just don't have the resources, and hey, no problem, because when we leave, they'll have the dog house, and that's what's important.
And the same token, if you want to donate one, that would be an awesome thing to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was a shelter that closed down in Louisiana, and they contacted us, and they had a bunch of dog houses. And I don't know for sure if we're still in the works. We were going to meet them halfway and take those dog houses, because once they shut down, they didn't need them anymore. And which is sad. We've had 4 shelters shut down in the last 4 or 5 months that we know of, and that's very concerning. Because when one shuts down, that just means what happens. I mean, sometimes it's not good, because the towns may have to go back to being kill towns or whatever. But it's just sad. But anyways, when they shut down, the burden's a little bit stronger for everybody else, but we'll handle it.
Well, let me ask you something. Wintertime coming on. A dog's appetite changes when it gets hot and when it gets cold. Do they eat more or less in the winter?
They definitely eat more. And that's another concern we got, because, if we're going through 300 pounds a day in the summertime, and it may go up to 400 pounds a day in the winter. Yeah, so definitely. And the reason they do that, of course, they're storing up body fat and all that stuff for the winter. So so far, it hadn't affected it much, but I think in the next few weeks, we'll start to see them getting more hungry and eating their food faster and things like that. Yeah, that goes back to the care of the dogs in the winter. I would feed them a little bit more, make sure they got good bedding, make sure they got a dog house. Hey, if you can open your heart and let them in the house, that's the easy. Some people would never do that, but I'm all about a dog being inside, outside dog if it wants to be. I mean, I'm not going to change her. Some people would never change and never let a dog in the house, but hey, is it really going to hurt anything if that dog comes inside, especially when it's cold?
Cozy fire. But it's
Oh yeah,
while you're smoking your pipe and reading your book.
that's it. You can have that nice dog, and he will love you that much more, and he'll be more a part of your family. I mean, if you got it in you just to go out on a limb and say, I'm going to let that dog in the house because it's 0 degrees outside tonight, I think you'll be better for it. I know your dog will be. Your dog will be a happier dog because of it.
Mm-hmm.
But just because me saying it doesn't mean it's going to happen. But I would like to think everybody say, "Oh, come on in." That's one thing in Wisconsin. I never, you don't see outside dogs like you do here. Everybody, because it's so cold that they do. You don't see dogs out in the yards like you do here. They're in the house because that's just the way it's got to be up there. I mean, it's too cold. It's cold here. It's real cold up there.
Real cold.
That's right.
Now, are you still looking for volunteers?
We are, and there are so many roles here for volunteers. We've got 50. I made a list of all the areas of the shelter and came up with 53 different kind of areas that people could work on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you'll come in here, I'll show you the list, and you can mark the areas. Painting. We've got a lot of painting that needs to be done. I hate to paint, and I'm not a good painter. But 3 of our employees put down painting, so that's 3. But if we could get 5 volunteers that like to paint, we could get our fences painted, our buildings painted. So anything, you don't have to be. It makes it better if you're a dog person because all these dogs are kind of overwhelming. But if you have a skill and you think I want to do something good for the world, I'll show you that list, and you can pick and choose what you want to do. Drivers, we constantly need drivers for transports and for taking dogs to the vet. Mechanics, maintenance people, office people to answer the phone, people to help with the newsletter, photographers. There's 1,000 different things that you can do. And if you come out here, we'll help you find what you need. And then again, you might like to clean up dog poop. And if that's your, hey, if that's what you like to do, we got one lady that actually does that. She comes out here 3 nights a week, normally when we're closing, and she'll stay here till 8 o'clock at night, deep cleaning kennels. I mean, that's what she does. She spit shines them. Uh-huh. And we've been doing it for 2 years now. And when she got through with every kennel, she went through every kennel here and really detailed it. She started over again, and she just loves it. That's her service to this shelter is cleaning up poop in kennels. And she just loves it, and we love her for it.
That's absolutely fantastic.
It is.
If a lot of businesses just look for things to do in the community with their employees, and they love to have employees who want to serve. So if you're an employee, you might want to talk to Mr. Employer and say, you know what, I think I found a way that we can serve in the community in that Second Chance Animal Shelter. That would be a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. We have several of the plants. A couple of years ago, they did this thing where they would give employees 4 hours a week to go volunteer. And I know Tyson Foods sent a bunch of people out here. They would just come out here. Instead of working on this 4 hours, you go out and work at the shelter. And that worked beautifully. A lot of schools have community service things in order to get your degree or whatever. You have to do community service. A lot of clubs have so many community service hours required. We'll take care of all that.
Churches, church, youth groups, whatever.
Right.
About 20 seconds left in this segment. Doug, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Always love it. Maybe next month the technology will work a little better.
Yeah, I'm glad we worked it out. Absolutely. Doug, again, thank you so much. Tell Wanda hello for me.
If I can catch her, I will. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Good luck on your trip.
Okay, bye-bye.